So, Dante, thank you for joining us.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
So, you played in the Little League World Series, I believe. What was that experience like for you? And what did you learn from that? I think you played with a couple of guys from that later on in your career as well, right?
I did. Yeah, as I played more and more in pro ball, I actually played against guys like Jurickson Profar, who was on Team Curacao in the same World Series, and then I played with Ali Castillo, who was on Team Venezuela in the same year as well, and I think there was a few other guys the year after, but yeah, it's kind of a small world.
What did you kind of learn from that experience, if anything, or were you just kind of enjoying being on the TV a little bit?
But back then it's just kind of like the thing that really drove me was being on TV, and that was the only way to do it as like a baseball player as a 12-year-old was to be on the Little League World Series. So that was like the biggest the biggest goal that we had at that age. But it was a lot of fun, and you get to like keep those videos forever and stuff. So it's just a really good experience overall.
You mentioned to me before that you kind of look at yourself not as an athlete but as an entertainer. When did that kind of change its course a little bit?
So I guess growing up, I put so much work in, so much work, but behind the scene type work for baseball, like trained as hard. I trained 24/7. Honestly, until I was about even through my time with the Yankees in pro ball until I was about 26, I think is when I got signed by the Rockies and left the Yankees. And that's like the first time that I stopped just really stressing on the baseball aspect of it. And I started thinking to myself, well, why don't I just go like try to put on a show? You know what I mean? Try to put on a show. I started dressing a little differently. You got to see like the kind of tail end of it at High Point. But I started, wearing more chains or just kind of like letting my personality come out and in different ways. Um, whether it was like mannerisms on the field or like things that how I interacted with the fans was a big one. And it's funny because as soon as I started doing that, I started, I mean, raking. I started playing the best I've ever played for the last 3 years there, and and I think that was a big testament to that for sure.
And as you mentioned, you played with the Yankees organization. Right out of high school, you were drafted first round, I believe, by the Yankees. What was that pressure like for a young 18-year-old Dante? What was that pressure like for you?
Um, it was actually something that I kind of knew was coming for about a few months before the draft. I knew the Yankees would take me. The pressure was it was weird. I had like this weird mentality where I tried to say like, you know, I don't, pressure doesn't get to me, and that was like that wouldn't really allow me to deal with the pressure. It would just I would just push it kind of to the side. So I'm not really sure how I dealt with it. I think probably in an unhealthy way. But I did deal with a lot of anxieties and different, just mental like things that disrupted the way that I played when I was younger. And I think that you know having that whole like I avoid pressure and I don't do pressure type of mentality. I think that was part of the issue actually.
And you played with guys like Judge and Duhar and Torres and stuff while you were with the Yankees organization. Do you have any kind of fond memories with playing those guys?
Oh, absolutely. Um, I had a really good like group of guys that I came up with. The majority of them, honestly, are in the big leagues. Uh, but of course, I remember my favorite memories are just some of the days that we would pop off at the field. I mean, I remember one opening day in Erie, Pennsylvania, in Double A. I believe Jake Cave, he's with the Twins now. He led off the game with like one of the farthest homers he's ever hit, and at that time he was like a singles hitter. He had like 380 every year, but he just crushed one like into the night. And then Judge was hitting second. He went off the top of the some building out there, hit some glass window or something. Then later on, Gary went deep, and then I went deep. We had Eric Jagailo and Greg Bird and all those guys that went. We all hit home runs, and that was a really fun day. I think we had 9 on opening day, which is cool.
And now looking back at seeing them all doing well in the majors, does that make you kind of like a proud brother in a way to see, hey, look at what these guys did? I saw them growing up a little bit.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? I remember videoing. I was videoing Judge's and Tyler. It was Tyler Austin and Judge's first at bats. You remember how they went deep together?
Yeah.
And we were sitting in the clubhouse before the game, and I had the video on. I still have the video, and I posted. It's actually archived on my Instagram. Both of them went oppo. No, Judge went dead center. Tyler went right down the right field line, and we were freaking out. It's when you have a tight knit group like that. Not all teams are tight knit like that, but we had some. So we were all happy for each other, and it was accomplishment when anybody made it for sure.
And you had, from what I recall, you said once you got released from the Yankees that you kind of lost your love for the game in a way. How were you dealing with that mentally, and what made you fall back in love with the game?
I started losing my love for the game honestly right in the beginning of my time with the Yankees. You know, it was just a little different than I thought. You get sent to like a back field at 120-degree weather, in Tampa, Florida, and like there's no fans, no music. It's just heat and baseball, and it's cool for a little while. I actually did really well in that league, but it's cool for a little while. But it starts to really drain on you and really test you as like. Let me put it this way: like some of the more successful baseball players I've played with were like very mature for for that age. You know what I mean? And I think that the baseball life really tests you. It tests you as a person like throughout a season. Um, and I was not ready for sure at 18 years old out of high school, but it it was a great experience. Looking back on it, it was a really cool experience because during those times were some of the times I learned the most about myself in the long run. But yeah, it can be a long year.
And you ended up going to St. Paul. I know you said that's one of your favorite places to be. Um, what was so special about St. Paul, and what kind of changed once you arrived there? What kind of changed in your mentality and approach towards the game?
So St. Paul must have been the best place for me to go. In a baseball wise, it like seriously turned my career around. I actually just I went to spring training with the Rockies and then got released. And that was pretty sad. It was a pretty low. I thought maybe I was done there and just decided to go to St. Paul basically to have fun and see if I liked Indieball. Um, and so their whole team philosophy is like fun is good, like have fun, and they do crazy stuff. Like they have like 8 different entertainers dressed up like a chef or a I don't even know, a clown or a gym coach, and they just do outlandish, hilarious stuff the whole game. We had like a 30-minute food fight in the middle of the 7th inning one game with the fans. It was like us throwing food at the fans. Anyways, that place like really allowed me to thrive and really allowed me to like completely be a performer and an entertainer like I'd always wanted to be. And the fans there were amazing. They accepted it right away. A lot of those fans still like follow me on Instagram and talk to me on Instagram still a few years later. And yeah, for sure. So St. Paul was great for me.
So indie ball, whether it's the Atlantic League or playing in lower levels, that's kind of a fun place to be.
Indieball is absolutely the coolest place to play baseball. It's such a different environment than anything. Like high school is a very like cliquey. It's like a specific group of people. Like you're representing your school, and then it's college representing your college. Sometimes your state, sort of. It's like, and then in professional baseball, there's that like inner competition with each other. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you're all battling for a lot of money. battling against each other. In indie ball, it is. I mean, everybody's there for a reason. Everybody did something along the way that they need to prove that they can do better at, and so everybody knows that, and we're all there, and we're just honestly everybody's ego is down, and they're just having a good time, being genuine for the most part, which is really cool to see. And competing together. The High Point team that we had when I met you, we were so tight knit, and they ended up having such a great first season. But I was so bummed when I had to leave in the middle of that playoff race. But you know, we I just think that honestly, like the way that a team clicks, like it can really transform the way that I guess you know you can be, or that you can act.
You played in the World Baseball Classic, right? Just this past year with
I
Brazil.
did. Yep. No,
Yeah.
not this past year. Like 3 years ago. We were supposed to have one this year, but it got canceled because of COVID.
What was that like? First being, put on that team again before it got canceled, and then playing with it in general. What's that experience like? Not many people get to do that.
That was really fun. I was actually really looking forward to it this year too, and I have to find out when we're gonna make that up. But that that's again some of the greatest time because you're just there to win. You know what I mean? There's nothing else going on except for winning. And I remember, our elimination game we had against Israel, I believe. No, Great Britain. Great Britain knocked us out a few years ago, and as soon as the last out was made, I think 98% of our locker room was in tears. That's how much energy and passion is going into those type of games. So those are a lot of fun.
Now, you were at the Rockers game where the national anthem situation happened, right?
Well, yeah,
Uh, so I was outside of the stadium, so I didn't get to fully hear everything until I saw it on the news. And if for those listening who don't know what we're talking about, just Google High Point Rockers national anthem. But what were you thinking on the field when that happened?
I just couldn't really believe what was going on. I don't have a lot of comments on it really, but I just know that I was very shocked and then was not surprised when it went viral.
I was shocked when it went viral, having to deal with the PR backlash. But um, you've been on quite a couple of situations where there's been weird things that happened to you on a baseball field. I think last year with Harrisburg, a dog ran up to you. I didn't see the video, so I don't know the full story behind that. What exactly happened there?
They were having like a wiener dog race or something. So there was like a bunch of wiener dogs running around, and one of them got loose and started running all over the stadium, and then he ran right to me, right in my arms actually. Let me
Delayed the game, I'm assuming.
No, it was really quick. As soon as I called him, he came over. His name was
His name was what?
Cookie.
Cookie. You're good friends with Cookie now? um, so the MLB announced several months ago that marijuana is no longer on the illegal substance on the drug tests. What are your thoughts on that? I know you just smiled a little bit. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm very happy about it. I think that, you know, more than just something that people do for fun, it genuinely helps a lot of people with their mental health or physical health. And as you've seen, some of the greatest athletes in the world use it. Michael Phelps with all those gold medals, and then he gets caught. You know what I mean? Caught, whatever. Um, but no, I'm really happy, and I think that's just a step in the right direction, really. And with how much crazy stuff has been going on with baseball this year, that was definitely like that one felt good. You know what I mean? It was like, wow, cool. Like, point for on the good side.
Yeah, man. And one thing I want to touch on before we carry over away from baseball here is how does a baseball player keep fit, keep himself ready mentally and physically when you're not playing baseball? I mean, you were with the Nationals organization, so you aren't playing MLB, so they had to cancel the season for everybody else who's playing in the MILB. How do you physically keep yourself ready for that?
So I was out there in spring training for about a month, and then we all of a sudden get huddled in. It happened over the span of like a day and a half, and we just were basically told go home. And so I came, I came out here, met Hannah out in Cali, and then have been just training, every day or every other day since. It's just like you just kind of move around and do some stuff in the morning, and hit, throw, and then that's it. Just kind of a little bit every day keeps you on top of it.
So, I know you're a big video game guy. You carried me to a win in Fortnite a couple times. With your sniper skills is outrageous. But you're a streamer, right? I think I saw you started streaming now. You and Hannah.
We did streaming for like 4 days, and I think the most viewers we had was like six, and we didn't really give it a huge effort. We kind of just pointed the video at our couch. um, but it was fun, and we might do it again. Who knows? But she's
You got to collab with Schaefer, man.
oh, he's amazing. He's amazing. Well,
What
his
games do you play besides Fortnite, though?
Well, Crash Bandicoot 4 comes out in on my birthday, like a couple days before my birthday, so like a month or two.
Hmm.
I think they did on purpose because they know how much I love Crash.
um, so Hannah's posted quite a bit of photos on her Instagram of your food. Are you a cook by chance?
Bro, I am an amazing chef. Like there, honestly, I never thought that I would see the day that one, I wanted to cook anything, you know what I mean, from scratch,
Hmm.
or two, even I don't even cared, you know what I mean, like to try. But I've got these meals coming in now where they just like basically give you all the raw ingredients and then you do it, and I'm killing it, killing it.
Is that a possible life after baseball kind of job that you're looking into?
I've always enjoyed like the arts. In my opinion, if make something that's delicious, that's like an art. You know what I mean? To be able to do that. So I've always enjoyed stuff like that. I'm sure that you never know. I'm sure that that could combine with another skill along the way at some point.
And back to that question about you changing your aspect of being a athlete to a entertainer. I see the Alphonse gear you're wearing. Uh, you're dropping the new EP
Good eye.
on Friday, August 28th.
Uh-huh.
First of all, how long have you been working on that?
So I've been working. So basically, I got sent back, or sent home from spring training in March, in the end of March, and then I think I started at the end of April, maybe the beginning of May. Yeah, I think the end of April, and then it kind of was all written and ready to record after honestly after a month and a half, and then I didn't, I have nowhere to go, so I couldn't go to any studios. They were all shut down, but I had a mic and a laptop, and I sat down in the front of my partner's uh, Mustang in the front seat with the car off in the parking garage and recorded the entire EP. So
Well, that's a special sneak peek. We're doing it in a Mustang.
it's cool. It's funny thinking about it now because it's just a funny story, man. So it'll be cool, and hopefully next time around I get to get in the studio. But
So what's the album going to be called?
the album is, you know what? I'm gonna make you wait a little bit because I have some
Oh,
posts coming to reveal that. But
okay.
I was thinking about it. I'm gonna wait till the post reveal it.
Okay, so what can we expect from it then? What's the vibe we can expect?
You
Give
can
us something.
honestly, you can expect like I guess it's my vibe really. So if you know me, it's my vibe. But if you don't, I would say it's like a chill, beachy, like kind of like a head nutty feel good vibe. It's something that you'd play in the background. You'd play while you were chilling on the beach with your friends, or like up in the mountains if that's your thing, or on. You know what I mean? It's feel good stuff. So I think that it's fun too. I think that you'll like it. We'll see. You gotta let me know though when you hear for sure.
Oh, of course, I'll let you know right when it comes out. Um, we became, I guess, closer friends once the Pride Month happened last year, where I put the High Point Rockers logo as a Pride logo. That was kind of a mixed reaction. We'll call it that. What was you're a big advocate for equality, and I kind of want to know like what are your thoughts on equality movement for both like sexes and genders and all that stuff. What is your thoughts on that?
I guess that for me, uh, my waking up to just how much that that type of like a movement is needed happened when I met Hannah a few years ago. She's been like my muse for a lot of the music and a lot of just life. You know what I mean? Just learning and growing up. But I just think it's important to fight for what you believe in. You know what I mean? I think it's important to like voice loudly what you believe in because if not, I don't really understand the point of being here. You know what I mean? So I just think that like I was super pumped and proud of you for changing. Would you change the logo?
Yeah,
Make a post.
I changed the logo and put the little bride tape on the
Yeah.
logo.
You know what? And I know and some people weren't happy with that. Well, guess what? I'm really proud of you, and I think that's awesome. You know what I mean? And I think the type of I just think that people who need to notice that you did that will, and I think that's good. Otherwise, you know, I just think you have to stand up for what you believe in, like period, end of story, for sure.
And last question I have for you, and I'll let you go. Um, you when you look back at your career when you were 18 years old, or even just when you were playing Little League World Series and stuff like that, what would yourself now tell your younger self then, having been through everything that you've been through, and you've changed personally, you've changed yourself. What would you tell yourself?
Um, man, I mean, there's so many specific things I could say, but I guess vaguely I would tell myself kind of what I did tell myself. It's always gonna be okay. You know what I mean? So like, why worry about it? I just kind of
Hmm.
feel like everything will be okay if you're like if you're lining up, your actions and the things that you do with how you want to be and how you would like to see the world, then I think things will just end up kind of being okay. And that's rang true ever since that, I've thought that. And so I guess that's what I would tell young me. I would tell me it's gonna be okay.
And I'll stick one more question in here. What would any advice to give any younger ball players growing up, or even guys in the clubhouse now playing indie ball, or even farm systems? What would you tell those guys?
I get this question a lot actually. And this is an easy one for me, man. And it's something I think we've talked about pretty much every time we talk. You have to you have to be who you are through and through, and you have to like purposefully just bring joy to people. You know what I mean? Throughout your game. Work hard and all that stuff, obviously, but you know how like in baseball, man, once you get to a certain point, everybody either makes things happen or don't. And I firmly believe that like the energy you put out to other people comes back to you. So I would say honestly, lift people up, uh, have fun, be who you are, type thing.
All right, man. It was great talking to you. I'll definitely let you know my thoughts on the EP, and I'll definitely promote that as much as I can.
You're the man.
All
All
right,
right,
thanks, buddy.
I'll talk to you later.